Hello everybody, this is a return to Helgen sit and talk. Now I've been getting a lot of questions about Helgen. Unfortunately you're posting them in the wrong topics. You're posting them in the Brexit price rises and other videos. Now just so you understand where I'm coming from here, if you post 20 comments in Brexit price rises, I'm going to think Brexit price rises is a very popular video, make more Brexit videos. You're going to get less Helgen videos and more Brexit videos. So it's in your interest not to post off-topic questions in videos you've got no interest in because you're sending the wrong message. You're literally confusing the topic. You'll get less of what you want. So stick to return to Helgen videos for return to Helgen questions, please. This is a return to Helgen video, so feel free to ask questions here if you want. Now I've noticed people starting out by saying I read blah blah. That's good. I like to see that. I like to see people who've clearly read the docs. Right? If you're still stuck at that point, right, then don't worry. I'm more than willing to help you. I just want to see people try and help themselves first, because otherwise I'm dealing with a whole world of Helgen players, and there's only one of me. I just don't have the time to do that, and I don't like to leave people out. This is the root cause of some of the arguments in the past. I don't like to leave people hanging. I do like to make people feel like they can move on. I'm a very helpful guy, and when you get too many people asking for help, you can't cope, and then you start reacting badly to it. And that's what happened in the past. So I'm really happy to see people reading the messages and stuff like that. That is good, and I will continue to help you. I will continue to help you. If you read the things and you're still stuck, that is absolutely perfectly fine to make a comment, ask a question. I will bend over backwards to help you. Right, time permitting, of course. And I've got to manage my own time, as you know. But anyhow, return to Helgen. What I'll do is I'll talk generally about my mods, because I do this with all my mods, right? When you're going through the quest line, I like to integrate my mods into the default game whenever possible. Not all the time, but when it matters. So you go through with the main quest, right? It recognises, like Kavach after Kamach, I can't remember its name now. Kavach Rising, right? As you went through the main quest, it progressively upgraded Kavach. There's 5 stages. So at 5 stages in the main block, Kavach would improve slightly. It went from fires to no fires to nature taking over, right, to rebuilding, says to actually being available, that kind of thing. It followed the plot, right? The plot, it knew where it was, and eventually you get to the end of the main quest in Oblivion, and it would be a fully functional city. It's the same thing, right, with Skyrim, except with Return to Helgen, except Return to Helgen is on Skyrim, and Skyrim doesn't have a constant what they call game loop. Oblivion did. It just goes around and around and around this script, over and over again, going, where's he at now? 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 You get the idea, don't you? Or do you say, where's he at now? Where's he at? A few more times, maybe? Where's he at now? They keep asking over and over again. Right, so it's constantly, it's just a couple of seconds out of date at most in Oblivion. In Skyrim, you have to physically go through a trigger to force that update. I think it was to keep the overheads down on the CPU, which is an obsolete concept now because CPUs are faster than the games need, thanks to the fact they're developing on consoles. But anyway, you've got to go through a trigger box, and every time you do it goes, where's he at now? And if you want to do it again, you've got to run back through the same trigger box, so you're back and forth going, where's he at now? Where's he at now? Where's he at now? That trigger box in Return to Helgen is that little marketplace in the middle of Helgen where the fire is, right? That's where the update takes place for the first half of the mod, I would say. For the rest of the mod, I switched to a different system. Talking to people triggers the next stage. But for the first half, that's the Penitens Oculatus, up to the Penitens Oculatus stuff, until you actually start rebelling, right? That's all done through the fire thing. So every time you run through there, it checks your quest progress, right? And if it finds you've actually done certain quests, the guy in the tower, the commander's assistant, or Mr. Smith, he updates, his quest list for you. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean you go to Mr. Smith, do something, run back to the fire, then go back to Mr. Smith to get the update. It was a bit of a design flaw on my part, to be honest. But to be honest, I think I must have been having a bad day when I designed that. To be honest, I could do it a lot better, and later on I did do it a lot better. So yeah. So anyhow, the key is every time you want to force an update, you run past that marketplace and then go back to a character and it'll update. And all it's looking for, it's got a series of functions, and the function goes, has he done the Dark Brotherhood? Has he done the Civil War? Has he done this? Has he done that? And when he does, it ticks it off. Right? Once it knows you've done it, it opens things up. Now, the reason for doing that is to make sure that my mod storyline stays in sync with the progress in the game. You don't become Emperor, for instance, while the Civil War's still going on. That kind of thing. You have to finish the Civil War. You don't declare war on the Falmor and then attend their diplomatic immunity party. That kind of thing. So it stays in sync with the game every step of the way. Which brings me to another problem. Imagine you've installed a mod that changes the default game, the quests in the game, which is always a bad idea, but sometimes mods need to do it to work. But then my quests are going to be looking in the wrong places. You might have a Civil War mod, for instance, that changes how the Civil War operates, like my Kavachi Aftermath used to do, with the Kavachi quests. I kept the stages the same, so this problem didn't exist in Kavachi Aftermath. But if they change the stages, and I go as stage 1 being completed or stage 100, then it said no. It would never trigger the next bit of the quest. So if you actually had a mod that changed the default game, the Dark Brotherhood, Civil War, and rewrote the quests in it, you might have a problem. That's just the reality, because the way my things do, they don't change these things, they just look at your progress in them. So if something's changed it and changed all the stages, or made the stages mean something completely different, like one of them might be Dark Brotherhood stage 100 in a quest is the Emperor's being killed. They might add a few more stages, so you've got to get to stage 300 for the Emperor to be killed. Man goes, he's done complete 100. Yeah, good, he's Emperor. Now we've got 2 Emperors suddenly, and it's out of sync. You see what I mean? So if you do install mods that change the way things work, you might have a problem. As for crashes and stuff, there've been a few reports about that. I'm mystified, to be honest. We haven't had any crashes other than the ones we've seen since the last update, the anniversary update. Before that, there was no crashes whatsoever. So it could be an anniversary issue thing. I don't know. To be honest, it needs looking into, but I got sick of working on Bethesda bugs in that department. But anyway, remember I've already updated this game for several versions of Skyrim. This is just another one, right? And I've only just finished doing the last lot. But anyway, yeah, it could be Anniversary Edition causing some weird functionality going astray. I don't know, but it's not a mod that's known to crash. It's been fairly stable since it's made, because I am quite thorough in testing these things. Because I'll play a mod to death and then I'll release it. And regarding making the mods with the voice acting, I start from the principle where I record every single part myself. And then I offer the lines out to voice actors. And if I get lines in, I replace my lines with voice actors. If I don't, I say voice actors, it's players. I replace it with other players' voices. If I don't, then my original recordings stay the only recording for that character. That's the way it works. So the more you hear me talk, the less volunteers I have in that mod. That's a general rule. But I used to let the players do the voice acting, because I like to share the fun. And we all had a great time doing the voice work and having a bit of fun with that. And I think that's the whole point of modding. If you're doing it as a profession, making money, you want to hire professionals. I wasn't doing it for money. We were doing it for fun. And me and my voice actors, we had a lot of fun. Of course, voice actors, are people who actually hand in lines. Waste of space are the people that volunteer to help, tell all their friends they're voice acting, but don't actually submit any lines. I've seen mods held back from release for years, waiting for that one guy to release his mod, to give his lines in, because the modder doesn't want to upset him. I've got no problem with that, because they're not helping until they hand the lines in. So if they mess me about, they're sabotaging my work. So I used to take the view, fuck off, right? I was not very nice to time wasters. Voice actors, unfortunately, or voice work, unfortunately, involves dealing with quite a lot of time wasters. The ones that actually handed the lines in are the rare ones. So I never once spoke badly of my voice actors, regardless of how good or bad they were, because nobody else was going to submit the lines that they submitted. They did it, nobody else did. And that's the thing to remember about voice work. The people that did submit the lines are one of the few that volunteered and actually handed them to me. So we all need to say thank you to them. I'd like to improve the lines dramatically, but like I said, it was a hobby. Gamers were making these lines, because they liked to do it, not for any profit or anything. And I think that's the key point to remember. Anyway, if you have any more questions, post them down below. I'll make a response in a video, so you can look at it. Hope the video now has explained a few things to you, and I hope you're enjoying Return to Helgen, because from a story perspective, it's actually quite good, right? So I've honest, I had a lot of fun making it as well. My favourite scene, by the way, when you've got the armour installed, and I might actually make a release version of it, where you can use the anniversary mods, the Knights of the 9th Anniversary update, to actually get the armour back. But you're in the Temple of the One, I think, no, Temple of Talos in Windhelm, and you're talking to the priest in there, and he says he's got 2 friends, and they walk out. You see him in ebony armour if you don't have Knights of the Nine store. If you do have it, see they have Knights of the Nine armour. It's Matty's Knights of the Nine armour, and it comes on like that, and they stand next to him. He goes, "These are my friends," like that, and then you realise you're talking to the Divine Crusader, and he hates the Falmor too, because they've been persecuted by them, and because they're obviously a Talos order, so illegal. So yeah, and then you make an ally there and then, and he's been watching you. That is one of the best moments in my mod for me. I loved that moment, and I can't get enough of it. So anyhow, if I do any future story mods, there'll be a lot more of that going on. A lot more of that. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully this will help you solve any problems you've got. I do not use Nexus, I do not use tools, I have no special load orders, right? My mods are designed to work, be as compatible as they ever can be. Not every mod is going to be made that way, and depending on which mod you have installed, the mods will either crash or they'll work. But my mods are designed to be mostly self-sufficient, not touching anything they're not needed, therefore creating as less conflicts as possible. So, if you've got a crash, it might be a conflict. If it is, it'll be something obvious. It won't be something remote. It'll be obvious, like the 2 mods editing Helgen or something like that. So start your search there. See you in the next one.